Good morning. And Isabel was born to run. Last night about 9 o'clock, just after I signed off, the wind started to pick up. I threw out the Genoa, turned off the engine, and we have been flying ever since. Just all night long. Let me just show you. This is a configuration I love on this boat here, is to run with just the Genoa. And for those of you who are just starting, you know, if you're out someday and the wind turns really robust on you, and you're heading somewhat downwind, that's a good way to do it. It's just the Genoa. Don't leave the main up as well, because it'll flop around. It takes the wind away from the Genoa, and you risk having an unintended jibe as well. So, anyway, some of you may say, well, why don't you put up the Spinnaker? And I can. I have a nice Spinnaker with a sock, chaussette en français. But you know, it's a lot of extra work, and it's not without risk either. You know, the Spinnakers can, if you don't do it exactly right, can get wrapped around the forestay. So it's just an added risk. I'm doing 6.8 knots. You know, so why put up the Spinnaker so I can do 7.5? You know, so that it's just not enough additional benefit for the work. Now, if the wind were right at 10 knots and I'm just barely moving, then that's perfect. 10, 12 knots, that's perfect for the Spinnaker, but not in these conditions. So, there's one other thing I wanted to do. I want to show you this. You're gonna laugh, I know it. Look at this. I bought this using my children's inheritance money. I bought this before coming on this trip. And I bought some nifty looking lures. I've got a whole bunch of these, not just these, but I got all kinds of these. And I wanted to go fishing. But you know, I just can't bring myself to go fishing. All my friends do it, you know, they all throw it over. But when you're alone, here's what bothers me. 90% of the world's fisheries are overfished, a disaster, you know, and tuna in particular are being wiped out, and members of the tuna family. So I'd love to catch a small mackerel that I could just get 2 fillets out of, and that'd be wonderful. But I just know that I went fishing, I would catch some member of the tuna family that's on the verge of extinction, and it would weigh 25 kilos. Which is 20 kilos more than I need. I can't store it. My refrigerator isn't big enough and all that. And I just can't bear the thought of catching one of those magnificent fish and then ending up throwing 3/4 of it away because for whatever reason. So I can see fishing, now thinking about it, if you're with a full crew and you've got 4 or 5 other people on board with you to share the fish. But if you're alone, boy, it sure seems like a lot of waste. I know my friends are laughing at me. Patrick, you idiot! You're not even going to catch any damn thing. What are you talking about? But I don't know. I just can't bring myself to do it. So I would love to, but I'm just afraid I would catch the wrong thing. Too much of the wrong thing. So it was not a night for a lot of sleep, and it was wet and dreary and very, very dark, pitch black. It was a a fishing vessel, a big one, a really big commercial one, that passed 3 miles away from me. And at night they were all lit up like Christmas trees, and I did not see him. I could not see him because of the fog and the rain and the mist, and I never saw him. And I turned every light I had on board here so he could see me. Of course, I could see him on AIS, but you wonder, are those fishermen always looking at their AIS? Or are they out there doing the important thing, which is fishing? So it was not a restful, peaceful night, but good progress. And now it's the start of the 5th day at sea. Going a little slower than I thought, but if your average or median speed for planning purposes is 5 knots, you know, you need to have some off days where it's below 5 knots, and that's what's happening today. But it doesn't last too long. Hopefully the sun will warm things up and cause some movement in the atmosphere here, and get going just a little faster, because 380 miles to go is still a long ways. We'll see. You know, they say that in life, the journey is much more interesting and important than the destination. But on reflecting on sailing, I'm not sure that applies to sailing. To be diplomatic, a large part of sailing is highly monotonous. I mean, not much happening. You sit around. For my away trip to the Azores, I have recently discovered that I have a cousin that I didn't know existed, who's an author. So I read his 500-page novel on the way to the Azores, which was pretty good, by the way. I should give him a plug. But much of sailing is just sitting around. I suppose if you're on a boat with a crew, you know, there's some bonding that goes on, a shared experience and all of that, provided you get along with your shipmates. But long distance sailing, I think the destination is probably more important than the journey, because there you meet other sailors with common interest and shared experiences, and how did you get here, and what problems did you have, and what advice do you give, and you know, that I love. I love going into a port, meeting the people, and listening to their stories, and marveling at how lucky I was, and after hearing some of the stories, and learning from others who've been there before and done it. So I think the destination is actually pretty important in sailing, whereas in life, I'll agree that the journey is perhaps more important. So anyway, being philosophical and melancholic, let's hope for a bit more wind tomorrow. Not too much. Here's some mare's tails, high cirrus clouds. You can't see them too clearly now, but there's some mare's tails up in the sky there. That's supposed to mean a change in the weather within 24 hours. So let's hope it's not too severe. But I would like to have a bit more wind. Although the wind is, just as I'm saying this, for the last 10 minutes it's been very nice, and I'm sure we're doing 6 knots, but just to make fun of me.